Hi friends, part 4 will be EA forms. Okay, so number 1, what is EA form? So according to our inland revenue, okay, EA form refers to like what we call it, we call Borang EA, right? We call it the EA statement. Okay, so this is an annual remuneration statement, or we call it the annual salary payroll statement. Okay, we call it the annual income statement for the employed person, isn't it? Okay, so that will actually gives us the idea that any one of us should actually receive it. We call it, if you are an employed person, okay, even a director is also classified as employed. Okay, you must understand. Company is a separate entity. All right, director is another individual entity. Even though the director may be the only shareholder, or even the director is the major shareholder. All right, so that we need to understand that individual, okay, so long as you are working for a company, or you're working for a sole proprietor, or you're working for a partnership. So if you're under employed position, all right, you will need to receive this for you to actually submit your income tax return. Okay, all right, so that's important. So next, we need to go through that part is the part 2. All right, so why do we need it? Okay, the reason you need this is to ensure that if you are above that pay grade, okay, that requires to pay taxes, the form ensure that you are aware, okay, of what you have received, and then of course whether you're going to go online to do your e-submission, or you call it the e-filing, all right, and whether you need to fill out all your personal relief or tax relief and all that, so that you need to actually take that under the deduction before you derive in your chargeable income. Okay, so taken directly from the Inland Revenue website, okay, you can see that there is a section, this 83 1A, okay, and you will understand that this is an interesting part where every employer shall for each year prepare and render to his employee the statement of remuneration. All right, so that will be the last day of February, okay, meaning the 1st of March, which is the last day of February. So normally what we see is that, you know, bosses or even the payroll colleagues, we call it the HR department, they may take longer than that. Why? Because certain company, you know, they may need time to process their commission. Okay, they may need time to process their reward. They may need time to process their KPI. You know, nowadays we have all these KPI OKR, you know, all these incentive program to actually reward our team for their good performance. All right. So the processing time, okay, may take more than 2 months. All right, because certain so-called appraisal, okay, certain appraisal may only happens by end of March or even April. So usually that is something that we need to keep in mind, to remind our employer, or to employ and remind them, please provide us early. Okay, so of course, as an employer, I'm sure this has been improving. Already, this has improving to shorten, all right, to shorten the assessment period and to provide the form EA on time. Because failure to do so, I'm sure there are some penalty. Okay, so what happened here? Okay, you can see on this note, employer have to prepare and distribute this Borang EA, okay, before the last day of February. All right, and there's a footnote here: a fine of 200, okay, a fine of 200 to 20,000. Whoa, not 2,000, okay, it's 2,000, 200 to 20,000, or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 6 months, okay, or both. Okay, if failure to prepare and to provide this form EA to employee. Okay, so this is important for us to bear in mind. Okay, number 4. So how do I fill up? So normally from the employer perspective, all right, we call it, we are the payroll department. Okay, we are the HR department. Okay, we need to make sure that the gross salary, wages, you know, those leave pay, meaning those leave did not, it's not taken, but it's converted to pay. Okay, certain director fees, all right, certain sales commission, okay, certain reward bonuses, perquisites, allowance, income taxes paid on behalf by the company, all right, are also part of your income. And then the shared benefit and gratuity, okay, those probably are retiring staff, all right. Some of those we call that even some of those compensated, so-called retrenched staff or even layoff staff, if they were to receive their EA form, you still need to have all this information. Okay, you still need to fill out the information for them. Whether it is taxable or whether it is exempted is another part. Okay, but we need to fill in the gross amount. Okay, we got to fill up the gross payment amount. Then only whether there's any deduction, it will be taken care by the Form B or the Form BE itself. Okay, understand? Okay, so there's a part 1, B1. All right, B2, type of income. So you got to fill out whether that is under whether it's a business, whether it is a salary or wages or even commission. All right, so these are some of those part that you need to take care. All right, so then B3, B3 is interesting. Benefit in kind. Okay, this part I think I need to probably highlight a little bit. Benefit in kind quite commonly with vehicles. All right, quite commonly with accommodation. So there will be a table. All right, there'll be a table that you can refer to, especially the car for vehicles. All right, that is provided by the company. Okay, especially those directors who are driving the car back home. Okay, not parking the car at the office premise, but you park the car back home. So some of these, I would say, benefit that we receive, okay, the directors will receive, okay, provided by the company. We need to look at the table itself, right? The prescribed table, which is under the BIK section. All right, this is another interesting part. Of course, B4, as I mentioned just now, the value of living accommodation. All right, for example, you're renting certain houses, your rental, whether you have made provided and all that, whether there's furniture or without furniture. I know these are some of those interesting, I would say, areas that a lot of people make certain mistakes. And of course, whether are they honest to fill in. Okay, so this is important as well. Okay, then B5. So refund from unapproved, we call it the pension fund and all that. So these are some of the taxable, okay, taxable private retirement fund. All right, we call it the unapproved one. So these are some of those income stream, or rather receipt that you will receive. Okay, and of course B6, as I mentioned just now, the compensation for loss of employment. So the compensation of loss of employment basically are important to know that I think during this time we can see that the unemployment rate has gone up. So probably these B6 are quite probably common now, and hopefully I would like to see this improve, meaning the unemployment rate will be improved. But all this compensation for loss of employment has to fill it in as well. All right, so please bear in mind, these are the part B1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 has to be included in the EA form, and this has to be taken care by the employer. All right, okay. So all right, I think my sharing for EA form is here, but I just want to add on a little bit here. For EA form, it's important to fill up, okay, and it's important to communicate, with our employee, especially those that has got certain, I would say, gray areas. When I say gray areas, probably it's on the BIK part. Okay, probably it's on the value of living accommodation part, because certain vehicles, they are commercial vehicles. All right, certain vehicles is registered under the personal names. All right, so these are very common in we call it the businesses, because they are directors who are buying cars for themselves, okay, but paid by the company. All right, and of course there are certain expatriates, all right, coming to Malaysia. All right, they're working for the companies, and then company is paying for their accommodation. All right, and all the benefit that comes into it. So these are the areas where I think we need to sit down and look at your employment contract. So I want to make another point here is we need to refer back to your employment contract and make sure that those benefits, right, stated in your employment contracts are actually also taken care of, are also actually reflected in your EA form. All right, so because when we come to across certain audit, audit on EA income, we call it the PCB audit, and all that we call it the desk audit, audit major from Inland Revenue. They look into all this, all right? They look into your contracts, they look into your employment letters, and look into all your engagement documentation, right? So that is something that I would like to bring up again. So hopefully today's sharing on EA forms help us to be able to comply with the laws, okay, to be able to plan ahead and to actually work with the employers together and together with the employees, okay? So hopefully today's sharing is helpful. And we look forward to see everyone again. So take care, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy. I'll see you again. Thank you so much.